Colin Albert's lawyer is going to tell us who was in the house.
And we're not just talking about trained, experienced police officers.
Wait, did he just say trained, experienced police officers with a straight face?
We're talking about Canton lacrosse bums.
Which is really just a fancy way of saying soccer mums, isn't it?
We're talking about people that are in their late teens and early 20s that were at a party there.
Oh, a bunch of underage drinkers supervised by a bunch of soccer mums and trained, experienced police officers who probably should know better. Gotcha. Anyway, that's not the reason I recorded this little snippet. The reason is, a few hours earlier, that's not what he said to Vinny on court TV.
Look, I think today was a very, very difficult day for the Commonwealth. You essentially had information that Proctor, who was this conflicted out state trooper, handed off the most integral, important part of the initial stages of the investigation to a police department that had, quote, perceived bias and was ill-equipped, ill-trained, and ill-prepared to do the investigation. I think that came out pretty powerfully.
There's some tricky lawyering there, but he did use the word quote before he said perceived bias, because that was mentioned in the trial. What hasn't been mentioned in the trial, and which he followed it up with, was ill-equipped, ill-trained, and ill-prepared. Those are his words. That ain't what he was saying a little bit later on someone else's show. And that isn't all that he has said. We don't often get to hear from any of the Alberts' side of the story, and that's why I find it very, very interesting that somebody on the Albert side is saying that they should throw Trooper Proctor under the bus. I mean, he's not really saying it that straightforward to Vinny, but later on STS, he certainly is. Have a listen.
I think it's better played saying Proctor had a conflict. He had a personal conflict. He hid the conflict. Because of that, he broomed the investigation because he just wanted it to be over with as quickly as possible.
I think they'd be smarter to play it down the middle like they've been playing it and focus on Proctor. What I think is shaping up, not a cover-up to, not a conspiracy to cover up a murder, but perhaps a conspiracy amongst law enforcement to kind of minimize what would surely be terrible PR fallout about a bunch of officers out drinking on a snow night, and lo and behold,
and then responding to the scene. Great point.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think the feds were investigating a PR campaign gone wrong. However, you do get the idea that something's afoot, and Proctor's going to be thrown under the bus, don't you? I'm pretty sure they know as well as we do that there's no coming back from that misogynistic rubbish we heard early on. They also know as well as we do that he's cruising for a cancelling. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy in my books. What do you think? Are they going to throw Proctor under the bus? And does he deserve it?